After your dinner, they would be in the kitchen cleaning up saying, "No good deed goes unpunished."
I find it very healing to be putting the lights up and the decorations up and cry a little bit and then go, this is beautiful.
So that I understand, on the dating websites,
Oh, sure.
is there a category called cuffing?
Wow.
Or do they call it cufflinks? I mean, what is it?
Hello and welcome to Silver and Sensational. I am your co-host, Jessica Lynn Verdi, and I am the pedestal on which our host stands, Lois Mills.
I love her. She feeds my ego so well. Yes, it is Lois. And welcome to our show. Thank you for tuning in.
And folks, if you're watching us on YouTube, now's a really good time to subscribe to us. You can hit that like button and hit the little bell so you get notified when we go live. But in case you're wondering, we always have a brand new episode on Fridays. So that's pretty consistent, something you can rely on. Lois, we did a really great episode about the holidays in general. I think a lot of people around the time that we did that episode were just beginning to feel the stress of, I can't believe it's Christmas time again, or I can't believe it's the holidays are arriving. So our whole episode focused on the stress of that in hopes of relieving, in hopes of helping. So we hope we helped you in that way. But it also became apparent that there's other emotions that come up with the holidays. And so we wanted to do today's episode about being single for the holidays.
Yes.
Why does this seem like something you wanted to talk about today?
Well, I could almost be an expert on this. Well, I am an expert on it, not almost, because I've spent many holidays alone. And I'll tell a story a little bit later, which I think is the most relatable story of my single holidays. So I think that for many people who may be experiencing their first holiday alone, I hope that what we do today gives you some insight how to make it the most pleasant and the most comfortable for you.
So we do have a few questions, like I said, and this question is from Cole N, who writes, "Hi, Lo. I live alone in a big city and usually can't afford to fly home to be with family over the holidays. I have friends who I either go shopping with or have holiday lunches with. They know I typically spend the holidays alone and will often extend an invitation to join their family's festivities. I don't feel comfortable doing that. For one, I feel like an imposition. I also feel like a charity case. On top of it all, I feel like they're only inviting me because they feel sorry for me rather than really wanting me. So suffice it to say, I usually decline the invitation. I'm sure I'm too much in my head about this, but what do you think? Sincerely, Homebody for the holidays."
Well, Cole, thank you for sending in the question, and thank you for your sign-off of Homebody for the holidays. Well, I know where you're coming from on this one, because after being at many family tables over the years, I reached a point in which I said, I really don't want to do this anymore. But let me go back a bit to what you said. You think that they're feeling sorry for you. You think that they think you're a charity case. Give your friends more credit than that. How about they're sensitive to the fact that you are alone? Even if they're reacting to their own nightmare of spending a holiday alone, they want to feel they're doing their part in including you in their family's celebration. I would say that if you could remove from your head what you think their motives are,
Wow.
and just sit with yourself and think, will you have a better time being with them if you didn't have any of these hang-ups? Would you have a better time being with them or being alone? The honest answer to that, void of all what you perceive their motivations to be, because you really don't know for sure. No one said to you, hey, we feel sorry for you, so that's the only reason we're asking you. I'd say follow what you are feeling without these creations of other people's motives.
Wow.
So when I say I stopped doing it, it's because for me, I just felt once I did all the stuff for the holidays and, I just was completely comfortable with when the day came. I was very comfortable and at ease and happy with being on my own. So I hope this helps. And I really hope you can get all that shtick out of your head because it may be getting in the way of your having a good time. Now, if they're bad, if they're a bad family who get into arguments makes you unhappy, it's one thing.
Right. Hey, we're going to invite Cole and put him in the middle of our fights.
Exactly. But if that's not the case, think about it, remove all those doubts, and then decide where you would have the better time. Take advantage of people's generosity.
That's a beautiful thought. Boy, am I guilty of trying to assume why people are asking me nice things or, the thing that usually helps me get over that is I genuinely wouldn't ask somebody to spend an intimate holiday with me unless I wanted to spend time with them. So I do have to give someone the credit to do the same.
Well, I wouldn't go to the bank on that one, judging what other people do based on what you would do.
That is fair, Lois. That is fair.
However, even if it is the case, so what?
I love it.
They extended the invitation. You accept it.
Right. It's their damn fault for You might not get an invitation next year, Cole, but at least you got one this year.
Yes, at least they would, after your dinner, they would be in the kitchen cleaning up saying, no good deed goes unpunished.
And the way you can avoid that is cleaning their dishes.
Exactly, Cole. Yeah, if I were you, exactly. You get in the kitchen so there isn't any talk behind your back. But I do wish you a very happy holiday season. And I hope you were able to enjoy it. Okay.
Yes, thank you again, Cole. I am looking forward to all of Lois's insights on how to be alone for the holidays. So let's get started.
Well, for people out there who are spending their first holiday alone, I want to tell you about my first holiday alone. And it goes back many years. And I had been separated for a couple of years, but spent the holidays with extremely close friends. I mean, I could say that they were my family.
Oh,
and then this one Christmas, they were going to go off somewhere and I wouldn't be part of it. And oh my God, you want to talk about devastation. Oh, Jesus Christ. It was the worst.
What was the impetus for that? Were they discluding you or were you uninterested?
No, it was just better for three men to go off on their own.
Got it. Okay.
So, it was for me, and right now I just need to go back to something I had seen on television even years before that, and it was on a program called Hill Street Blues, and Mick, who was the weird character who ate onions, went home on Christmas Eve and opened up a can of soup as the lights flashing from, he lived in this kind of depressing one-room apartment with this soup can on the counter. And I can only tell you, at that time I was married, but the very sight of that was so upsetting to me that I just sat there and cried.
Oh, Lois.
So, yes. So now, some years later,
here you are with the soup can.
Here I am with the soup can. And I said, oh my God, I can't do this. So actually, he was the manager of Neiman Marcus who said, you should really go on a trip, like one of these trips where people, it's with a group of people, which I had never done.
Oh, kind of like a tourist trip?
Kind of like a tourist trip. And it was to Zermatt, Switzerland, which is an absolutely magical place, ski place.
Had you been there before?
I had not been there
Got it.
before,
Okay.
and I don't even think I had been to Switzerland before. And anyway, I did everything he told me to do. Book, you'll pay for a double and then add the single supplement so they don't stick you in a closet. And
Oh,
he
wow.
gave me all the clues. So I board the plane in Chicago and we're sitting on the runway. And I am thinking, how can this be happening to me? I have this family that I don't see. I no longer have a husband to spend this with, and I don't have these friends to spend. And how could I be Mick? How could I be by myself? And the tears start running down my face. And the plane starts to gently go down, taxiing down the runway. And all of a sudden, it came to me, and I said, "What the F is wrong with you? You've got a brand new mink coat sitting up in this first class area of a plane on your way to Zermatt, Switzerland, one of the most beautiful places in the world. How dare you start to feel sorry for yourself?" And let me tell you, everyone out there, I arrived in Geneva, and because the thought of being on a tour, I told the tour guide, I will go and you can drop me off at this restaurant where I'm going to go have fondue and blah, blah. And
Amazing.
absolutely. And then met the people for dinner and then blah, blah. We went on to Zermatt. Let me tell you, it was one of the best trips I ever had. After arguing, because they did give me a closet after all, I got the most exquisite room overlooking, I mean, overlooking the Alps, okay?
Oh
And
my God.
that was through a glass window in the shower. It was a suite and not not even a room. And I walked down to the river where I saw boughs of holly being sold, bought candles and everything, and brought it all to my room, sent a note down to the desk, have everyone come to my room for cocktails.
Oh,
And
Lois.
and it was magical. And Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, we went out on sleighs after dinner. And I just have to tell everyone, I thought Disney had recorded this. The snowflakes were this big. The bells, the church bells are ringing starting at 8 o'clock. There are no cars in Zermatt. People walking with pillar candlesticks. I still get goosebumps when I think about it. It was but magical. And then went on to the next morning. I arranged for an ice skating party at a rink, which I ice skated. Not everyone did, but certainly everybody came. There were 24 of us. There was one other single lady who was sort of a grouch. And,
And you were not going to be the grouch.
no, and I had a wonderful time, met wonderful people. So I guess the moral of the story is accept the fact that you are alone and try to do something outside your comfort zone. And I guarantee you, if you make the right decisions, and you should be able to figure out if you want to go to a place that's cold or hot, or if you want to go spend the day feeding people who don't have places to go. Whatever you choose to do something out of your comfort zone, something you haven't done before. And I can just about guarantee you that you will find it will come out to be probably one of the best things you've ever done.
What a beautiful experience to share. And it really sounds like you decided to make the choice that this was still going to be a special holiday rather than feel sorry for yourself.
I did feel sorry for myself. I mean, oh, poor me, I thought, what the hell is wrong with you?
But that's
In
like,
the words of my father, you're crying with 2 loaves of bread under your arms.
God, what if that, I'm so glad you said that, because I was so curious which one of your family members imparted that part of your personality to you. That
Oh, my
was
father, definitely.
what
Yeah.
an interesting thing.
Yeah.
But that's a sign of brave. Like it's I don't know how else to compare it. You can't be brave unless you were afraid first and then chose to act. You can't, but and maybe maybe you don't need the can't part of this, but you chose to not feel sorry for yourself because you were heading down that direction. And I just think that that's admirable. There's a world where
You do listen, life, you've got choices, and it is up to you to decide. Do you want to sit and wallow, or do you want to make the best of a situation? And one of the ways to at least start the process is to accept that this year is going to be different. Different doesn't need to be less than. It's simply different. And if you reassess your expectations and open your mind to new experiences, this is an opportunity rather than a punishment.
one of the things I think that anyone will benefit and have a happier life overall is if they learn how to be with themselves and not feel the need to fill the void. Now, this is particularly hard when you're coming off of a breakup. You're coming off of a major loss in the family. So I'm not suggesting that people that are maybe potentially grieving as well get with it and learn how to be alone, because that grieving process is also very important. And so, as
It takes time.
it does. And I find it very healing to be putting the lights up and the decorations up and cry a little bit and then go, this is beautiful. Like allowing both of those emotions to be present while not giving up or seeing this as futile. Because then I can go, well, there I go again. I get a little sad sometimes, and I'm moving right along. And now I'm going to go watch Love Actually. Because those traditions that mean something to you are still something that mean something to you. They just might be a little bittersweet.
Oh, they are. But also look at the wonderful memories you have.
I really wanted, when we talked about doing this episode, I wanted to explain something to you that people do. I have not done this, but
What's that?
a lot of people are prone to feeling really sad or alone or lonely and kind of miss cuddling up with somebody over the holiday season. So the Gen Zers have labeled this from like holiday, like from like October to January 1st, cuffing season. Have you heard of cuffing season?
No, tell this boomer what cuffing season is.
It's okay. To be fair, I'm not Gen Z. I'm millennial, right? I'm an elder millennial. So cuffing season, I think it's where you cuff yourself to somebody. You are basically on the hunt for a member of the sex that you're attracted to be partnered with just for this season. So, and then they're free to go January 2nd. Basically.
What?
Yeah.
And you get two people
Well,
who are consenting adults to do this?
So yeah, you're not. Yeah, just to clarify, it would be as if I were single, I would find Joe Schmo to hook up with for the holiday season, and then when it started, the snow started to melt, saying goodbye to Joe Schmo.
So that I understand,
Yeah.
on the dating websites,
Oh, sure.
is there a category called cuffing?
Wow.
Or do they call it cufflinks? I mean, what is it?
First of all, there needs to be a cufflinks app. I think that's genius, Lois. You might have just made $1 million idea. I think
Yeah, somebody out there's going to steal it, and there goes my million.
it was brilliant while it lasted. So, this generation of daters are a little bit more open with, I don't know if you're familiar with the term ethical non-monogamy. It's basically a dude saying, I don't want to date you seriously, but being upfront about it. And it's not just men. I say that in a bitter way, because when I was dating, A lot of guys on their profiles said ethical non-monogamy or ANM, basically, or ENM.
Any euphemism still ends up being the same. He's a fuck around.
100,000%.
Okay.
We'll have
Let's
a whole
sugarcoat
episode.
it.
We'll have
Yeah,
it. We'll have an episode.
That's for another time.
Because I want to give some. I'm sure there's people out there exploring ethical non-monogamy or polyamory in a way where it's actually true to them. You got a lot of fuck boys, is what they're called. That being said, though, boys and girls and non-binaries all alike want someone to basically have sex with over the holidays. And I know it's a really silly thing, isn't it? But a lot of people get some joy out of having a physical partner during the cold months. And so that's why they have labeled this cuffing season. I will say, this is not something I have not personally experienced. I would say I cuffed with somebody a few years ago that I really wanted to date. It's probably not the best person to cuff with. I was trying to, something about the holidays do make you wish you had a partner, wish you weren't alone.
Of course, you go to parties, everybody is coupled.
And you don't want to be that.
Of course, there's New Year's Eve, which fortunately for me, I have always preferred to be home.
It is one of my favorite things to do at home as well. I couldn't agree more.
And it's, the exchanging of gifts with your significant other. I get all of that, but just the sex part, I don't know, that, I guess maybe for me, and I certainly understand it if that's a person's motivation, and that's what's important to them, then fine. But for me, I would need more of the emotional connection that the holidays bring out in people.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure that a holiday puts on somebody, and if you're spending it with them. And so I agree with you. In general, I don't do well in relationships where I can't be attracted to somebody unless I also like their brain and I like them. And so I can't imagine I'd find somebody on an app and go, oh, I'll just screw with him for a couple months. I just wouldn't work for me. I will say, if there's something that is interesting to you, I generally wouldn't suggest somebody look for a rebound right after a relationship. You're still in a post-relationship fragile state. I don't know that you're going to probably put a lot of pressure on that cuffer, that cuff link. I love that, Lois.
Yes. While you're looking for the pair, he's only interested in the one on his right hand, on his right arm.
That's right. He can cuff with himself.
Well, for those of you who are not interested in cuffing, and thank you, dear Jessica, for bringing me up to date so I can feel au courant. And at the same time, try to maybe give us some coping suggestions. The first is one I've said already, but I think without it, you're going nowhere. And that is to accept the fact that this year is different, but it doesn't have to be less than. And then, I think instead of thinking of what you don't have, how about thinking about what you do have and express your gratitude? And if it's not mental, try journaling to really see it in black and white. And because I think if you can, and it doesn't need to be in a formal state or in a book or anything, and maybe just take a piece of paper and write down the things that you have in your life, especially things that have entered your life this year that you do have to be grateful for. And for those of you who have experienced great loss, it might be hard to do because that loss certainly tends to overshadow any good things that have come in your life. Try very hard to remember maybe those wonderful notes people sent or the outpouring of friendship from people. So there are things, I'm not trying to tell you how to feel, what to feel, but I do know that, for the years that I was going through loss, that this was helpful to remember that.
I wanted to add to it is hard to find gratitude sometimes when you're feeling really sad.
Very hard.
I always work my way down. So if I don't feel grateful for having a job, I can feel grateful that I can go to the grocery store and not have to, grow my own food, or that I could order in. So you can always work your way down and then start back up if you're finding it hard to find gratitude in a lot of different places.
Good idea. That's a good suggestion. And then some things that do make us feel better is to give of yourself and or your time in gift drives, providing holiday meals, going to the local animal shelter, visit an assisted living home. I mean,
Be of service.
Exactly. And this will bring you out of yourself, making connections with people who need what you're providing, and to be of service to somebody and to give somebody something they need in a time of need. Really, I'm not sure who's the bigger benefactor, the recipient or the gifter, but it's a way to spend the holiday. Or another way is to establish a tradition with another single, or even with yourself.
Beautiful.
Or, go to a movie, go to a special breakfast, watch that once a year movie that you do every year.
Wow. Whether you realize it or not, but you can do a little examination, go, God, what is one thing I like? And then it came to me all of a sudden a few years ago. I love Love Actually. Why wouldn't I just watch that on my own? I don't need to do that with somebody.
For me, It's a Wonderful Life. I do watch it every year. As on Thanksgiving Day, I watch the Macy's parade followed by the dog show. So, I mean, that's my thing on Thanksgiving morning. And it's good because being in California, it's much earlier. So, I can get on with my day easily.
Oh, yes.
So, whether it's with some other single or yourself, if you have a tradition, you need to make the day feel special for you and you alone. So how you do that with a special friend or by yourself, that's the most important thing. So at home, try not to isolate yourself if you can, arrange a Zoom family get together.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I always make it a point, especially Christmas morning, to actually call friends across the country to wish them a happy holiday. On Thanksgiving, I usually send out text messages, but Christmas, I always like to hear voices from friends. Or, if you're a church-going person, you go to church.
Yeah.
So that's your tradition, and keep it as much as you can until you find a new tradition for yourself.
One of the things I think most of us adults have experienced is the disillusionment after growing up and realizing, if you had parents that did nice things for the holidays, that your parents aren't around to make the holidays special for you anymore. So you've probably already experienced that and realizing, I've got to be the one to make these holidays special for myself. And if you've been in a relationship, two of you might be making decisions together. Basically, my point is, you've already experienced having to make the holiday season special. You just have to find a different way to do it this year, and it could still be special in a new way.
That's all. Another way to be able to enjoy the holidays on your own is to take care of yourself. In our stress session, Jessica and I both say we love to buy ourselves gifts.
Oh, it is a treat. It's what I love about this season.
So it's that, if you can afford it, take a trip, maybe try a new hobby.
I'd get a massage, honestly. And actually, A Korean spa might be a fun thing to visit too. Just like take a day and go sit in warm water and get a body scrub. That sounds really nice, Lois. I might go do
It
that even though I'm not single anymore.
well, there was one place prior to COVID where I used to go regularly. It
Yeah.
was just down the street from where I lived. But since COVID, I haven't done that. But not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. But we need to take time for ourselves to
Right.
feel our feelings, acknowledge the emotions. Don't try to bury them. If you're sad, cry. You've got the right. I mean, it's important to feel your emotions. And if it's the fear, I have a feeling, I have something that I have followed. It was the title of a book, but I adopted it into my life, which is feel the fear and do it anyway.
Ooh. Wow.
So, if you're fearful of doing something because it's new, just do it.
And
What's the
acknowledge
worst thing
that you're scared.
Yeah. So you acknowledge you're scared. You feel, it's important, especially at this time of year because there's tons of emotions. So in taking care of yourself, I think the last thing that we could say is dive into whatever you're doing the same as you would as if you were spending it with a loved one. So how about using the holidays as the opportunity to making yourself as important as you have made or make other people.
Amen.
Amen to that.
It's
Now,
beautiful.
if this is where we get sad because this is a very, very traumatic time of the year. So if you continue to have difficulty coping throughout the season with that persistent feeling of loneliness or sadness, it may be time to reach out to get some professional help. Just don't hesitate to do so, please. It is so important. And professionals are very well aware that this is a time, probably the time of the year when people need them the most. So there are all different kinds of ways to get professional help now, either directly, online, whatever it is. Reach out and please don't hesitate.
Well, I wanted to add to that. Your feelings are valid. So do yourself a favor, call the friend. And then if that friend asks, have you seen a therapist? Call a therapist or go find some support groups.
Good advice. Good advice.
My favorite thing that you said among so many, Lois, was take the time to make this a special, like treat this as though you are the most special person, like you would make it special for somebody else.
Absolutely.
We are just as deserving as usually when we host a party or put up the Christmas lights or, put the movie on when we're in a relationship. We are doing it so that that person can share in those feelings it gives us. So what you just have to remember is those feelings still exist for you. You just have to know how to access them and allow yourself to feel the joy that movie, the Christmas lights, the traditions, the gifts make you feel, because you are just as deserving whether you're with somebody or not to feel those things. So it's a good opportunity to reconnect with that part of yourself. It's a beautiful sentiment, Lois. Well, I think that about does it.
I think so. We have a lot more to cover in the next couple of weeks.
Well, yeah, we'll probably have at least one more episode or two before we take a little break for the holiday season. We'll come right back in January. We want to hear from you. What is a tradition that you started for just yourself that is still something you do today? We want to know. You can email us over at silverandsensational@gmail.com. You can also email questions to us there if you'd like Lois to answer them potentially on an episode. You can also leave a comment with us here on YouTube with whatever tradition you started for yourself. You can engage with us on Instagram and Facebook at Silver and Sensational. And if they are watching us on YouTube right now, Lois, what should they do?
The first thing I would ask you to do is to please subscribe and then absolutely share. Share it with your friends. It would be nice if you would like us And you can always hit the notification bell so that you're notified when a new episode drops, although we drop it every Friday and it stays on infinitum. Also, we are interested in knowing what you would like us to talk about. So in the comment area, please put some comments down as to what you would like to hear us banter back and forth. So, Jessica, as always, it is more than a pleasure, my sweet.
The feeling's mutual, and I'm so grateful to know you for this holiday season because that brings a lot of joy to me. And I have a lot of new traditions to get underway with thanks to you.
You certainly do. You have a new person in your life, and I have a new doggie in my life. And since I haven't done any Christmas decorations since the deaths of my last two doggies, I am here to announce that I have bought a small, albeit artificial, I just can't do real anymore, Christmas tree for the new Jackie and I to enjoy. And it's been, 11 years, going on 12 years since I've had a Christmas tree. So I decided bite the bullet and do it because this little one should have the same joy of having Santa dog leave gifts for her underneath the tree.
I'm sorry. I'm so overwhelmed by that. That is so beautiful.
I know. I do this, and she is so unspoiled. This one doesn't know what a toy is, so I think I'll have to maybe I'll make her dog treats instead of buying them.
That might be the way to go. I think that is beautiful, Lois. You have given me beautiful traditions with my cats too, and different ways to honor them. So I thank you for that. And I will be over here with my real tree praying that my cat doesn't knock it down.
Oh, God, yes. Oh, do I know that feeling. All right. Well, again, thank you, Jessica. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And we look forward to you coming back to see us and listen to us next time.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye now. Thanks for watching, everyone. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the notify bell. And please share it with your friends. And if you feel like commenting, use that box, will you?